I'm sure researching the news is something you do very, very regularly online. Well, there's loads of tricks that could make you more efficient and more productive at getting what you're looking for faster and more effectively. So we're going to look at tools using Google, using your favorite web browser, using OneNote, or even using third-party apps that can really get to that a lot better. My name is David and I have loads of videos on my channel about Excel, PowerPoint, Google Sheets, Power BI, OneNote, Edge. And if you would like what you see, then please check out my other videos because I've got loads more of these tips and tricks videos. If you're using technology at the workplace, then I'm covering it on my channel. So here we are in Google, and I'm just going to type to Google COVID UK, for example. And I do get this, but I'm going to go to news. And a couple of things you can do. So for example, you can hold down Control, and that will open up all of these in a new tab, which is really, really neat and quick to do. You can right click and get to it as well, but I find Control click just makes it so much easier to en masse open multiple things very, very fast. Another issue that you sometimes get is you get old news here. So when I'm looking at COVID data, often I want to know what's brand new. I don't want to know what's 3 days ago, 1 day ago, 1 week ago. So you can actually filter that. A lot of people don't know this great trick. Click on Tools, and then instead of Recent, I'm going to choose Past Hour. And it will give me only the stuff in the past hour, or past 24 hours, past week, etc., etc. Or even a custom range between dates. Well, that doesn't work with times. However, sometimes you want to be a little bit more specific than that. So if I keep it on past hour, there is a little bit that I can change in the URL code over here. You don't need to know much about this. All you need to do is navigate to this section. So H means hour, and if I put a 3 there, that will make it the past 3 hours. Whatever number you put there, it will make it that number of hours. So it's whatever it is, and H and SA. So 8 will be 8 hours, which is not in the drop-down list. So that is a pretty cool one. Or you can do it with days as well. If I go to past 24 hours, then at the end, it's D and SA. So I can go with, for example, 4 days, etc. Month will give you slightly different code, but it's the same that applies. So once you've got loads and loads of tabs, there's a few things you can do. You're probably aware of bookmarks. I love using bookmarks. As you can see, I've got a lot. But what a lot of people aren't aware of is the fact that you can actually just have no text in it. It's pretty easy how you do it. All you have to do is sort of click on something and then edit it, and then just delete it like that. However, another really great feature if you have Microsoft Edge is this thing called collections. A collection of bookmarks that you only need to access every now and again. So I use them for COVID in Cambodia, for example. So for example, here I can click on that, and then I get all of the things that I tend to go to look at COVID in Cambodia. So there's a lot of things you can do in here. For example, I can click here and choose to open all, which is really great because I do lots of reports on analyzing data, and it's really convenient for me to access them all in one go. You can also export it. So you can export to Excel, OneNote, Word. I'm going to cover OneNote later in this video because it's a fantastic tool. You can add notes, and you can add current pages quite easily by just clicking here and choosing Add Current Page. Or you can even just select a combination of some text and images, and then right click and choose Add to Collections and choose this one. And then we'll just take that part of it there, which can be quite useful as well. These have loads of use cases. For example, if you use it for shopping, you are able to export to Excel. And if you use the right type of data, it can even just give you a list of the price, the ratings, etc. on services like Amazon it works best on. So lots of really cool features you can use there. But I'm sidetracking a little bit. This is about news research. So let's get back to it. So back here, I find that sometimes you have too many tabs. If you use the new Microsoft Edge as well, you can switch on this and it switches to vertical tabs. So it's minimized, but then if you point to it, you can get it showing up there. Really minimal feature, but something that I love using. Let me switch it back. And then you can do all sorts of other things as well with this. So So Edge is a really great tool. I think it's really underrated, particularly in the office, because it links to your Office 365 if you are using that, and you can access your apps much, much faster. So I've got another video where I talk about that, but the next one applies to any browser, which is if you press the F11 shortcut, you get full screen browsing, which is really good for if you actually want to scroll and see things in more detail. It's a really great feature to be able to navigate that way. So F11 takes you back to the normal mode. And another quintessential shortcut is Control and Page Up to go to the previous tab, Control Page Down to go to the next tab. This is a fantastic way to navigate really, really fast. Works in Excel as well, which is probably where I use it the most. If you are using a laptop and you don't have page up and down, you can also press Control plus the function key plus the down arrow, and it does the same thing. Very often I'll have to read news in other languages and get that translated. And Google Translate does a pretty good job at doing that. So if you are on any web page, this for example is Khmer, the language they speak in Cambodia, I have the Chrome extension here. I can click on there and translate this page. And it's not going to do a perfect job. You've got to sort of give it some understanding that it is going to get some things a little bit wrong, but you get the gist of it by reading through it most of the time. It doesn't work with text and images, unfortunately, but it does work for a lot of stuff on the page. Or you can even set it to auto-translate. So here I have a Chinese page. There's auto-translated, as is any of these sublinks. Takes about a second there, as you can see. Now there's a couple of ways to use Google Translate. You can either type something in. So I could say, for example, fresh news. And then from here, I can click translate this page directly, or you can go to googletranslate.com. This one, translate.google.com. And then if you get a URL and paste it in here, then it will have this that allows you to open it. And this will automatically translate it. And what's good about this is two things. Firstly, this method works on mobile, whereas the other two do not. Secondly, you have the translated page as a web link. So if you send this to someone, they will get the translated version, not the original version, which is quite nice. So what you can do in order to add these kind of extensions, which I really, really like using, I'll show you the OneNote one later on as well, which is cool, is you can press the three dots and then you can choose extensions. Will open up a new page. You have the ones that you have installed, or you can search for something. So if you go to translate, it will show you what you have, or you can press the Chrome Web Store or Microsoft Edge if you're using the Microsoft one. And from here, you get your things. And for each one, you can just press that you want to add it to Chrome, and then it pops up over here based on what it is. When you've got extensions, you can also add keyboard shortcuts. So I have Control-Shift-T to Google Translate a whole page. So whilst you're researching, a couple of things that I'd like to point out is what I have on the sidebar when I research. We had collections earlier on the sidebar. Now we're going to have something called OneNote. So OneNote is an application that comes with Microsoft Office. Even with Windows, I prefer this one, not the OneNote for Windows 10, the one that's just called OneNote. And that will open up this separate application. It's a crucial member of the Microsoft Office family, in my opinion. And what you can do is a few things I want to show you here. Firstly, you can go to View and Dock to Desktop. This is what I use all the time. As I said, the sidebar. So any application that you switch between, any tab that you switch between, this will still be there. Second thing is you can select some text, and if you paste it in here, it will just always have that link, which is really, really convenient. And as I said before, if I Alt-Tab to another program, I get this, but OneNote stays on the side, which is fantastic. And then here I've got my list, so I know what the things I have to do are. You can also add things as tasks by sort of clicking there and choosing it, say, to-do tag and tick it when it's done. There's loads of reasons why OneNote is great. I've got a video where I say 13 reasons why OneNote beats Word, but let me show you this last one, which is Clip to OneNote. So Clip to OneNote is also a Chrome extension. If you select something and choose this, Chrome extension will work on Microsoft Edge, Chrome, and you have equivalents in other browsers as well. And you can clip the full page, or if it's an article, you can get a more condensed one where it takes out a lot of the stuff around it. Just a region, and then you can sort of screenshot the stuff that you want, or a bookmark, and then it just puts this sort of thumbnail and things like that as well. I'm going to go with article, and I'm going to press clip. It does it usually to something called your quick notes, but once you get it, you can view in OneNote, and then it opens up on the browser. But I can also see it on this one. If I click open in desktop app, then it will open it up over here. It actually opens up two OneNotes, but I can exit this one if I want to. So yeah, love OneNote. It's just such a great feature for anything to do with research or note taking. Next on to passive research. So this is a concept whereby you can still do your research, but only based on third-party apps doing it for you. So there's two things I want to show you. First is Google Alerts, where I get this daily email every time Microsoft PowerPoint is mentioned, every time Excel is mentioned, every time Sinopharm vaccine is mentioned. Because these are things that I like to do a lot of research on. Or Pangolin, I've just put that in there. So I can click edit this alert, and then it takes me to the website. So it's google.com/alerts, and then you sign in with your Google username and password, and then you can write in what your alerts are. It's pretty easy. You just say you want to be alerted by elephants eating. We'll give you a bit of an alert preview there, and then you can create an alert. You can show options and say at most once a day, or once a week, or as it happens. What are the sources? You can choose a specific region, and other stuff over here, the language, and all the results are only the best. So, and then you create an alert, and that's essentially all you need to do. Then you can manage them by clicking on there and choose the time of the delivery and how often you get the digest. If you only want it weekly, that's fine as well. So that's Google Alerts, free and easy to set up. So this is a different concept, something that's called visual ping. So I'm going to go to my dashboard. What this does is it effectively monitors a website and sees if there's any changes. So this is pretty useful for this website that I'm looking at, where it has the reports that are updated day by day, 1st, 2nd, 3rd of April, but they don't always publish it on the day of. So rather than checking it all the time, I just want to know, well, which date have they published it? So here, the change that's happened is this highlighted thing where it's just changed the number of hits. It's a really insignificant change, but I have detected that. So you can navigate it that way, and you also get an email notification about it. You can choose if you want a tiny change, a medium, or whatever step it is. You can choose the frequency, although if you go too often, then you might have to pay for it. You get a certain number of free ones, or you can pay for more. So if you want to create a new job, put in an address. So this is a website that I use quite a lot for news and actually contribute to them. This is a chart that I made using Excel. Excel can do map charts. I have another video on that. So you can hover over the things that you want to check, and then you get the options down here, and you can just press start monitoring and add your email address, etc. there. Just to show you how the email looks, it's something like this. So it just has the original and the comparison as PNG files, and it shows you it in the body of the report as well. So a simple yet really useful feature, and it's free as well. Back onto here, another great shortcut is Control F for find. So you can just start typing it, and then it shows you everywhere where it appears, and you can navigate like that. So this is find on page. You can do this on mobile devices as well. Usually when you search, there is an option to find on this page. It also kind of elevates and shows you this in yellow, which is quite nice. You can navigate to it if you don't like using the shortcut by clicking the 3 dots and then going to find on page like this. So if you like that video, then consider giving a like button down below, and also subscribe if you want more content on Excel, PowerPoint, Power BI, Google Sheets, Zoom, Teams, OneNote, Outlook. If you're using technology at the workplace, then I'm covering it in my channel. Thanks for watching.